Well, hello and welcome to the e-commerce evolution podcast, where we bring you the best of what's new and what's next in e-commerce. I'm your host, Brett Curry, CEO of OMG Commerce. And our mission with this show is to interview the top merchants, the top marketers, and the experts shaping the e-commerce industry. My guest today is Steve Deckert, co-founder of Smileio, formerly Sweet Tooth. And today we're talking all about rewards programs for e-commerce. I'm so excited about this topic and excited to dive in and give you some tips and kind of the future of rewards. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. Steve, man, thanks for joining us and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I really like the opportunity you've given us to talk about rewards and, the new brand and everything that's going on. We've been kind of quiet for the past year or so. So it's nice to finally be able to talk about all of the exciting things that we have going on.
Yeah, absolutely. And lots of cool stuff to talk about with Smileio. And we're going to dive into some of the ins and outs of rewards programs, how you guys can make those work better for you. And Steve and I had a chance to hang out at IRCE this year. We were both kind of near Shopify Row or Shopify. I just made that term up. I don't know what it's actually called, but the Shopify area. We were both kind of over in that neck of the woods. And so we got to connect some. And of course, Sweet Tooth has been a leader in the e-commerce industry as far as points and rewards programs. And so let's dive right in, because there's some good lessons here, I think, too, Steve, in terms of what merchants should be thinking about. But why did you guys change your name to Smile.io, and any significance there with the name? That's always kind of fun.
Right. Yeah. So our mission is really to create beautiful experiences for people. That's really it. So the reason why we changed our name from Smile from Sweet Tooth to Smile is that, Sweet Tooth, for the markets that we served, it meant points. It meant loyalty points and loyalty programs for so many people. And we started looking at, what people were asking us to do and what kind of programs were successful. And they weren't always points programs. Sometimes they are, but they're not always loyalty point programs. The number one sales objection that we would get was that I love what you guys do. I just don't want to run a points program. So we went back to the drawing board. And just recently, we've released some functionality where we can not only do loyalty programs, but we can also do VIP programs that are independent of loyalty points. So that's where, if someone spends over a certain amount, they can get upgraded from like a bronze tier to a silver tier, and a silver tier to a gold tier. And there's different exclusive benefits that are unlocked when you get those that aren't necessarily loyalty points. We're also doing referral programs too, where, if someone is a brand advocate and they love a brand, they can refer their friend, and that friend can get a discount, and the person who refers them could get a free gift or anything. So those are both independent of loyalty points. And in order for us to release those kind of features, we needed to get away from being Sweet Tooth, which was associated with loyalty points. And in the future, any kind of program that makes a customer smile, any experience that makes a customer smile is, we hope to power that. So we're looking beyond just loyalty points programs and really kind of drilling it down to first principles. And at the end of the day, if you make a customer smile, that's a good experience for them, and they're much more likely to come back, spend more, tell their friends, and do all these things that are valuable.
Absolutely. And I love that you guys have broadened your offerings there, and I think it was a great move on your part. Love the idea of VIP programs and referral programs as well. I think a lot of people listening are going to immediately say, okay, I know I'm either running a loyalty program or I'm not, and I know that I should. But for anybody that's kind of on the fence, why should someone consider a loyalty program? Because I know you've talked about in the past, taking someone from a visitor to a purchaser to a repeat purchaser, and then repeat purchaser to a brand advocate. So talk a little bit about the why, because I think that's always important to get some motivation. Why should we invest the time and money into creating a loyalty program?
Yeah. And loyalty programs or retention programs, any way that you want to keep your customers coming back, they're very profitable. The first reason why I always say is because it's kind of something that I believe in. I believe in treating customers in a good way that makes them smile. I believe that people should have good experiences, but getting into the business reasons behind it.
It's a little fluffy, Steve. It's a little hard to quantify there.
Yeah,
but I still like it. I'm with you.
Yeah, 8% of a site's visitors are responsible for over 40% of a site's revenue, and that's a digital marketing study that was done by Adobe. And I mean, you hear this all of the time. You might hear it as being the Pareto principle, where 20% of a site's visitors are responsible for 80% of its revenue. So there's a disproportionate amount of revenue in these repeat purchasers, in these loyal customers, and the goal behind any sort of retention program is to sustainably create those repeat purchasers and those loyal customers. Hopefully we can nurse them all the way from visitors to purchasers to repeat purchasers, and then taking that even a step further to brand advocates, where someone who has spent a lot at your store and they love your brand, hopefully they can refer and find more people like them to shop at your brand. Whether that's through a referral program or sharing on social or anything like that.
Yeah, and that's really kind of the ultimate win is when you have some very powerful, very passionate brand advocates. And so I want to dig into referral programs later. I think that'll be a fun topic to dive into and explore, because I think every merchant needs to consider that and look at that. And I know one of the other stats that is always thrown out, and it's 100% true, it's always more expensive to create a new customer than it is to continue the relationship with an existing customer. And I think it's also worth noting that sometimes if you've got a really close competitor, or there are some other options that people could choose, it may be the rewards program that causes them to ultimately stick and stay with you versus someone else. I know, just to use kind of an offline example, there's a few online components, but I eat out for lunch a decent amount where our office is located. There are lots of options. Big Mexican fan, love Qdoba and Chipotle, both. Probably give a slight edge to Chipotle in terms of flavor. I like the flavor a little better, but Qdoba gives free chips when you order the bowl, which is awesome. But then they also have a rewards program, which they actually just recently revamped, and it's now confusing. I don't like it as much, but in its old form, it actually caused me to go there a lot more than I went to Chipotle, even though I like the taste of Chipotle just slightly better. So I think sometimes you underestimate the power of these programs.
Totally. It's another reason, another part of that customer's experience. And I like to break things down into two types of factors for a customer experience. One is the hygiene factors, and they're called hygiene factors because they're things that you need to do, right? You need to brush your teeth, you need to take a shower, but if you do those, it's expected of you, and no one's going to give you a pat on the back. At least I've never got a pat on the back for brushing my teeth or taking a shower.
Maybe when you were 4.
Maybe when I was 4, yeah. So those are hygiene factors, and there are hygiene factors for any business. For an e-commerce business, it's having a site that works and having, a simple checkout and having good product images. These are things that are expected. They're table stakes for e-commerce. If you're doing those things, then you need to start looking at what are the things that go above and beyond my customers' expectations in order to give that experience, because experiences are really just the difference between our expectations and reality. And so if you're meeting all of my expectations, that's great. If you're covering all of those hygiene factors, that's great, but I'm not going to experience an emotion like delight. And that's exactly what the next type of factors are. They're called delight factors, and they're things that go above and beyond my expectations. And a rewards program is one of those things that helps brands go above and beyond a consumer's expectations to deliver that emotional response, which is hopefully delight, or any form of like contentness, happiness, smiling, hopefully.
Yeah, it's perfect. And to use the same restaurant analogy, I expect the food to be hot and, to not have stuff in it like hair or something. And, I expect to be at least get somewhat courteous service. So, those are the minimums. But ideally, I'd like to get some free chips or some free other stuff thrown in there, which adds to the delight factor. I like how you laid that out there. Well, let's talk about, let's say we're creating a loyalty program. What are some of the important steps required to building a successful rewards program?
So I'd say the number one is knowing your audience, right? It's knowing your audience, knowing the customers that you are designing this for. And I don't mean that, generally speaking, knowing your customers. I mean looking at your customers and looking at the ones that are going to become repeat purchasers, or the ones that already are, and knowing what makes them tick, what makes them as people excited. And we've launched thousands of loyalty programs, about 15,000 loyalty programs. I've myself have been involved in hundreds of them, and knowing that audience and knowing what makes them tick and knowing what will be a good motivator, a good reward for them is extremely important, because at the end of the day, it's an exchange, right? If a customer is doing things that are valuable for us, then we're going to reward them with something in exchange. And everything kind of goes back to that motivator, that thing that will deliver that smile for them. So if you have a very good motivator, a good reward, that will pull a program along. Once you have the fundamentals created, then it comes down to promoting it. So making sure that, it's just like any marketing promotion, really, just getting the word out there, making sure that people know about it, doing some press if possible, and everything. So, and these can go hand in hand sometimes too. One of our clients, they actually have a rewards item that is a Mini Cooper. So if you have a million points, you could get a Mini Cooper. And that got them press, actually, right? By having something so unexpected, they were covered in the press, and their customers love it. And it may not ever be rewarded, but it's cool to think that there's a rewards program for what is actually a makeup and a nail polish merchant. That has nothing to do with Mini Coopers at all, but it's an amazing motivator, and they knew their customers enough to be able to offer that reward and get them excited about the program.
Yeah, but they probably did some research or talked to customers or just knew that, Mini Cooper may be a better reward than a station wagon, or not that they make those anymore, I don't guess, but or a minivan or something like that. Like the Mini Cooper was cool, and that fit the audience. Now, I'm just curious, was that more of a push for press and kind of a little bit gimmicky? I mean, is the million points so unachievable that it will never happen, or is it like, well, maybe a super user could conceivably get that many points?
Yeah, I mean, if someone over the course of their lifetime, let's say that they only shop at this one store, and let's say that they used a lot of nail polish, it's conceivable within the span of years. But it's really the thought of offering more than just discounts. Discounts are they're the most common way of rewarding people, and they're effective for a lot of customer segments. But it's the mentality of thinking beyond that and thinking of our customers as people that have other motivators, that have other aspects of their life. They're not just purchasing products at a price. We're not just a vending machine. That's not the relationship that we have with them. We understand them more. And this is one of the things that we can include in our catalog to show that we understand them.
Got it. So getting the right reward. So here's the right offer or incentive that's part of this loyalty program, and then properly promoting it, marketing it, getting the word out so that people know, why they should take part.
Exactly.
So, awesome. Makes sense. So any tips you would give to someone on, okay, I want to either create a new rewards program from scratch, or I want to revamp the rewards program we have. And actually, maybe this would be a better question to kind of lead into that. What are some of the mistakes you see? This might actually be a better backdrop. Mistakes you see for rewards programs that don't work.
Right. So one of the biggest mistakes I see is just being way too cheap, right? So just really not giving customers a lot in exchange for the things that they're doing.
And by cheap, you mean stingy. Like you're not offering much in way of reward. Yeah. You're not giving a lot back in exchange for the value that customers are giving you in return. And again, that goes back to being an effective motivator. If we don't have things that are effectively motivating customers to change their behavior, they're not going to change their behavior. And one of the ways that doesn't happen is if you're a little bit cheap on the things that you're offering customers in exchange. That's often when
when a merchant doesn't believe in the loyalty program or doesn't really invest in it, that's often one of the things that we need to really dissuade them from doing. Other than that, I'd say it's really promoting it. A lot of people think this is a set it and forget it kind of a thing, but this is a fundamental way of changing your business if you're launching one for the first time. This is a very different way of looking at customers. And if you don't treat it that way, if you think that you can just set it up, turn it on, and it will kind of do its thing, you're going to have a bad surprise at the end of a few months. It's just like any marketing promotion. It's just like any core part of your business. You need to make sure that you're constantly promoting it, constantly getting it in front of customers, tying it into different parts of your business so that if a customer calls up to place an order, for example, let's look at their rewards program status and let's see if they're a gold tier customer, or let's see if they have points in their account that they could spend, or let's see if they've referred anyone in the past, and maybe let's ask them to do that. So these are examples of ways that we can involve our rewards program in every element of our business to make sure that it's successful.
Got it. Any tips on how to create that proper reward or proper incentive so that you're not, the equivalent of the bank offering, a pen if you open an account or something like that, promotional pen with the bank's logo on it too, so it's super exciting. But any tips on how do we brainstorm, how do we come up with and then know that, hey, this incentive or this reward is actually going to motivate our customer?
Yeah, so I think really understanding them as people and what do they do when they're not purchasing from us, right? What do they do with their friends? What kind of things would they do in their free time or on weekends, right? That's a really good place to start because we know that those are things that make them happy. Those are things that make them smile. How can we incorporate those things into our business and help get that association between the things that make them smile and our rewards program? And then secondly is, just let's keep it fresh. Let's keep updating things. A rewards program, just like any sort of digital marketing program, we need data and we need to test things out. So let's constantly add new things to our rewards catalog or new experiences for our customers and see what works and see what they really love. What are they tweeting about? What are they all spending their points on, or what are they moving towards unlocking? And if that's working, let's double down on it and explore that avenue and see what other kind of rewards in that fashion we can offer.
Talk about some of your favorite successful rewards programs. So other than the Mini Cooper, which is, press worthy and generates a buzz and pretty cool, also not attainable for the average user. What are some of your favorite examples of really just powerful rewards programs?
So I'd say that one that I really like is a small retailer out of Toronto. They're called Inkbox, and we power their rewards tribe. And so Inkbox, what they do is basically kind of temporary tattoos that last a little bit longer than a regular temporary tattoo. So the potential here for repeat purchase is very high. It's a product that is replenishable, and it's something where it's consumable. So if we can retain those customers, it's very valuable.
It's the 2-week tattoo. It looks like this is very cool. This is very cool. Checking this out. Yeah,
it's really cool. So if you ever want to test drive a tattoo before you get one, I'd recommend this. Or if you ever want a tattoo, but maybe you get bored of things really easily, this is a great solution for you too.
Yeah, that's always been one of my reasons for not getting a tattoo is I'm just like, man, I think about the shirts or something I liked 10 years ago that I don't like now. What are the odds that I'm going to actually get a tattoo that I like 2 years from now, let alone 15 or something. So.
Yeah. And this is perfect for you. So we power their tribe is what they call it. So, already they're really taking a different approach to it where it's like, you're part of our tribe, you're part of our family. And they're running a loyalty program where there's points involved as well as a tiered program. Where there are different perks that are involved that you kind of level up from villager to explorer to chief based on the number of points that you've earned over your lifetime. And then there's also a referral component as well, where you can earn some points for referring your friend. And what I really like about this program is that, again, they're a smaller retailer. They're not massive, but they're doing a good job. And the rewards that they're offering are great. and I'll get into kind of the results they saw, but I love what they're offering. One thing is that if you unlock the second tier, which is their Explorer tier, you get unique artwork on every order that is sent to you. So someone will do some sort of a custom drawing or some sort of custom like a painting on a piece of paper or on your order and send that out with you. And that's completely custom for you, right? So I think that's just such a cool way of changing that customer's experience based on them being in a certain level.
Very cool. Very cool. And did you want to actually chat about some of the results and some of the things that you're seeing with the program? I mean, is it obviously it sounds like it's proven to push someone from one level of the tribe on up to the next.
Yep. Yeah. So what I liked about this one is, again, that it was a small retailer, and they actually had some issues getting customers coming back and making repeat purchases. I think a lot of people would try these out, but few of them would come back and try it again. They would just forget. They just basically didn't have a retention program in place. And so we implemented this program, and within 1 month, we increased their repeat purchase rate by 80%.
Wow.
We saw 70,000 people sign up for this program. And in a month, it generated $1 million in incremental revenue from these rewards program members. So I think it was, this is a game-changing move for this business. They treated it as such. They offered some great rewards, and they really incorporated it in all elements of their business. And the results kind of really, really changed the way they operate.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. And it does make sense. If you order a 2-week tattoo, super fun, not necessary at all for your life, right? There's not going to be necessarily this event coming in the future that's going to remind you, I gotta get another tattoo. So I totally see how having the incentive and the reminder to buy again definitely paid off in this case. That makes a ton of sense. What are some of the recommendations you would give for proper promotion, right? So we talked about kind of some of the good incentives, but how would you properly then promote a rewards program?
Right. So, the simple conventional ways, we're looking at, emails to all of our customers, making sure that they know about the program. For our best customers, maybe we'll give them an email before everyone else so that they know about it, and that maybe they can start engaging with the program, and we can make some tweaks before we fully launch the program. We like doing soft launches where we will actually launch the program without telling every single customer, get some data, and then slowly layer some things onto that based on the data that we collect, and then fully promoting it. So a lot of work goes into pre-promotion to make sure that we're working on our messaging, we're working on the program itself, graphics and everything. But once we have that, definitely emails to all of our customers and potential customers. We should have a banner somewhere on the homepage, or if you have that style of homepage, making sure that we have graphics that really highlight the program and announce it. If you are doing any press, this is a good opportunity to talk to your press contacts again and make sure that they know about it. And it's really just like any marketing promotion, making sure that it gets out there, and then again keeping it fresh. So making sure that we're constantly changing the program and improving it, and just adding different ways to earn rewards or different rewards to spend your points on or to unlock. Making sure that you're keeping that fresh, and the messaging that goes along with that, letting existing program members know about those changes. It's really important.
Any tips on how to keep it fresh? So, how to keep those rewards and the message and everything, keeping someone interested?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'd say, build a roadmap, and a lot of merchants want to do every single thing that we can offer right away. And so I would say, let's launch in stages, right? So let's plan out a 1-year roadmap where, maybe next week or next month, we're going to offer social rewards. Where we can give you some rewards for sharing on Facebook and Twitter, and then after that, maybe let's roll out some Instagram rewards. So we're just constantly layering on top of the program. One really good way to do that is maybe to start with a referral program, add a loyalty program on top of that includes points, And then after you have that launched out and all of those components launched out, layering a VIP program on top of that, where, based on your customer status and the things that you've done and your participation in those referral and loyalty programs, you can kind of get leveled up from bronze to silver to gold, kind of a thing, or however you want to structure your tiers. And we can start, really keeping the program fresh, but also creating some exclusivity, making sure that there are things that only certain customer groups can get, and there's certain status and certain like exclusive experiences that they'll get that others won't, as a way to keep the program fresh. And there's always something to kind of level up to.
Gotcha. And is that usually a progression you would recommend, where you go referral, reward, and then VIP? Is that a pretty typical progression?
That's a typical progression. I'm not going to recommend it for every merchant, because for some merchants, a points program might not be a good fit. A lot of them might just stop at the referral program, and we'll just keep it a referral program. A lot of them want a VIP program without points. So it really is merchant dependent, but generally speaking, across all of our clients, that's a progression that we definitely see. People like to start with a referral program, because that's a really quick, easy win. You already have some people that love your products and your brand. Let's give them the tools and the incentive to get more people like them shopping with you. And then, we'll layer on some more retention focused programs, like a VIP program or a points program.
Got it. Recommendations for how you create a referral program, like some of the mechanics of that in terms of what you offer, when you ask for the referral, things like that. And then any great examples of a company who's just rocking it with the referral program.
Yep. So I'd say that the first thing you need to consider is what is the best incentive for me to get someone to refer their friend. This really depends a lot on what you're selling. If you're selling a grand piano, the incentive for that is very different than someone who's selling T-shirts, right? That's an item that can only be purchased once. So discounts are kind of out of the question, because we know that you're probably not going to be motivated by a 10% discount on your next grand piano,
right?
Unless you're some sort of crazy grand piano collector. I don't know.
Very few of those, I'm sure.
Yeah. So it depends a lot on that motivator, because that is the driving force behind every action that we're going to ask a customer to take. In this sense, it's for the referral. So once we establish that, it's then making sure that it's in front of the right people. The places that you'll want this to be are definitely, on any sort of order confirmation emails, order success pages, in emails that go out maybe 30 days after a successful order has been shipped. Anyone that's done a 5-star review, this is a good person for us to ask to refer their friend. Any sort of those cues, and making sure that we have the right timing on when to ask someone for a referral. That's really important. And just making sure that, again, it's in all parts of the business. So if someone calls in or if someone emails support, we want to make sure that we're asking them for a referral if they have a great experience or if they love the products.
Yeah, and so what are those triggers that you would look for when, hey, let's ask for a referral now? So, would you recommend that we ask everybody that makes a purchase? So purchase confirmation, or 30 days after, we're going to send that request for referral, or is it only after someone leaves a review, or does that just vary from business to business?
It does vary a lot. If you have a product that can only be purchased once, generally speaking, you're going to be asking most people who've purchased that. A way that's a really good way to kind of further segment that, to make sure that you're not asking the wrong people, is if anyone's ever left a review, or if you're doing what's called a net promoter survey, where post purchase you're sending people on a scale of 0 to 10 how likely they are to refer a friend or family member to this business, or recommend this business to a family or a friend. And so if someone rates a 9 or 10, that's really simple. Let's just bring them to our referral page. And instead of clicking 9 or 10 and that's it, it's over, let's get them to the referral page, because this is very clearly a brand advocate that we can use to help promote the brand and give them something of value in exchange.
Yeah, and I love the Net Promoter Score system. Just a quick plug for that. We've used that in our business. It's a great way to get kind of cut out the BS of normal surveys and just get right to the point of, would you refer us or not? And that's a great way for you to see how you're doing and what kind of level of service you're providing. There's maybe, one follow-up question you can ask to maybe get better feedback. But then it totally makes sense if someone is off the charts, that they love you or that they would be considered a promoter, then why not just say, hey, let's make it easy. Here's how you can refer a friend right now.
Yeah, absolutely. That's something that I recommend every merchant do is turn on some sort of net promoter score survey. Going back to the hygiene and delight factors, if anyone rates from 0 to 6, they are what's called a detractor. They had a bad experience. And if you ask after that rating, if you ask them why they rated that way, you're going to find out really quickly those hygiene factors that you need to solve in order to get them further along in their customer journey towards being a happy brand advocate. So that's a really good way to identify all of your hygiene factors and what you need to improve on to make sure that you're meeting customers' expectations. And then anyone that's in that 9 and 10 group, same thing except the opposite. These are delighted customers. They're brand advocates, and if we find out what has caused them to feel that way, maybe it was a support rep going above and beyond, maybe it was a great rewards program, whatever that experience is, this is a really good way for you to identify what kind of experiences customers need to go through in order to become a brand advocate. And once we've created them, then it's a perfect time for us to ask them to use the tools that we've created to help them refer friends.
Love it. And hey, just a little bonus on the podcast today. We're talking rewards, but a little net promoter score bonus there for everybody. So I like that. Any suggestions on incentives for the referral program piece? Because it's critical there to get a good incentive. But any suggestions there? And then anybody that you've paid attention to that's doing that really well?
Right. So I'd say the incentive, again, goes back to the product that you're selling and the possibility for repeat purchase. So if you do have the possibility for repeat purchase, then, let's go with a discount or free shipping or something like that. Something that works well for almost every merchant is a free gift. That gift could be your product or it could be something completely unrelated to your product. One example that I really like is they're called Bottle Keeper. And they basically sell a way for you to keep a beer bottle cold and also discreet. So if you're on the beach or something like that and you'd like to have a beer, you can put it inside of a bottle keeper and you know that it'll stay cold and you're not going to get some dirty looks.
Looks like just a stainless steel water bottle. I'm looking at it right now on the site. So yeah,
exactly.
Cool.
Yeah. And it looks normal. And so this is a product that normally you'd only really buy one of, right? You'd purchase it once and that's about it as far as customers go. But they have on their site, you'll see it at the very bottom, there's a banner, and also it's in their menu. They have a call to action that says, want a free bottle keeper. And they've got a rewards program in place that really heavily focuses on the referral aspect. And so basically, once a customer purchases a bottle keeper, we'll ask them if they want a free one in addition to the one they've purchased. And if they refer a friend, we're going to give them enough points to get a free bottle keeper, basically. And what's great about this is that you wouldn't necessarily think that someone would purchase 2 bottle keepers, but if you're telling me that I can get one for free, clearly I already like this product and I would like another free one. All I have to do is refer a friend. And that was a really successful program for them. Customers love it. And they've taken this product that is normally purchased once and that's it into almost like they built in the price of a free bottle keeper into the existing bottle keeper sale that they're getting out of a customer. And it's just this engine that is churning out new customers. It's a great way. They're actually, the price of this bottle keeper from their cost standpoint is actually lower than their average CPA on something like Google AdWords or Facebook ads or anything like that. So it's really a win-win. They're getting new customers. Existing customers are happy because they have double bottle keepers and they're getting the other one for free. They've seen a 300% increase in the number of customers that are ordering 2 bottle keepers. Their bounce rates decreased by 32%. Their conversion rates increased by 13%, and their average time on site is up by about 15% as well. So, the metrics look really good for this referral program. And it's a really simple program, but they've really done a good job of making sure that it's in all of the right places.
Yeah, that's really cool, and it makes sense that that would work. And also, I guess you want to be careful when you're creating a rewards program or referral program that you're not, discouraging someone from buying that may have paid full price or something like that. But in this case, they knew their numbers. They knew that, hey, people usually just purchased one of these, and now we can give them another one, build that into our cost structure, but also get a referral in the process, which I think is just super, super smart. And one of the things that I think people overlook, and I'd be curious to see how much you run into this, Steve, is that people maybe think about the cost of a referral program or rewards program, and they nitpick it without considering, and you brought up this point a second ago, without considering that any other new client acquisition effort you go through, whether it's Google AdWords or Google Shopping or Facebook ads or something on Amazon or whatever, there's a cost associated with that too. Often the cost of a referral program is less or equal to what you'd pay in other channels, right?
Absolutely. It's such an easy win for so many merchants. That's why we start out with referral programs with a lot of our merchants. It's because it's just a very easy turnkey program. It's your CPA, I will guarantee in like 80% to 90% of the time, your CPA will be lower than something like definitely Google AdWords or Facebook ads. And it's not necessarily one customer acquisition and paid acquisition versus retention. They play together. Most merchants, they dedicate less than 20% of their budget to retaining customers, despite the fact that these customers are much more valuable and it costs less to retain them than it does to get a new one. They spend very little on this, and these two things play together. I've seen a lot of our merchants complaining about rising cost of AdWords and paid ads, especially on social and Google. So this kind of plays together where if you can't afford ads at your current CPA, maybe you need to make those customers that you're receiving more valuable in order to afford that and to kind of play with the competition on those paid channels. And one of the ways to do that is to put a rewards program in place so that we know that our CLVs will increase. Each customer that we acquire will be worth more, and therefore we can spend a little bit more to acquire them. So it's really these two aspects of our business play together. And it's often the case where merchants are spending not enough on that retention component in order to feed the acquisition, especially paid acquisition component.
Yeah, it may feel kind of counterintuitive to say that, hey, if your cost per acquisition is going up on some of your traditional paid channels, that investing in a rewards program or referral program can actually help you be able to justify that higher CPA. And it's interesting. I can't remember who I heard this from first. It may have been Ryan Dice or Dan Kennedy. I don't know, but this idea that he who can, or the person that can spend more upfront to acquire a customer can win, right? The person that can justify it and has the ability to spend more to get a customer will win, because you can beat your competition pretty easily that way. And I don't foresee a day for most merchants where you can say, well, we're just gonna have to shut off AdWords or we can't do anything socially because it's too expensive. Probably not going to work. There may be some content marketing or some other things you can do, but a lot of those channels are kind of necessities for most merchants. So layering in these referral programs, reward programs, allow you then to spend what you need to spend to drive those new customers.
Yeah, absolutely. And another component too that you're seeing, especially now, is the number of people that are using something like an ad blocker. Or just the fact that people have kind of banner blindness or ad blindness, that's increasing, right? And again, I agree with you. I don't think you can ever shut these channels off. I think they're a necessity, but their effectiveness seems to be at risk, especially with things like ad blockers where customers aren't even seeing these ads. I think it's something like 40% of people on Google Chrome have an ad blocker installed. So, it's significant, and the trend is not looking great. So at the very least, as a business, you want to try and get some more channels, especially on the referral side of things, and definitely increase your LTV of each customer so that you can continue to spend more to acquire these customers, because I don't foresee the cost of ads going down anytime soon.
No.
And what's good about referral programs is that they cut, especially on social networks, they cut through that noise. This is not a paid ad. It can't be blocked. It's actually trusted. It's the highest trusted form of advertising is a referral from someone that you know. Nielsen does a study on this every 3 to 4 years or so. And consistently, year after year, referrals is the highest rated form of advertising in terms of trust. So this is just another channel that's going to cut through all of the noise, cut through all of the ads of your competitors. If it's going to be your customers referring their friends, and that's extremely trusted. It's extremely valuable.
Great. Steve, what are some of the new trends, kind of the new technologies, new things you see on the horizon? Where is this industry going, this rewards and referral industry?
So I'm definitely seeing a lot of people incorporate VIP programs into their existing program, or just running a VIP program as is, where we have different unlocked benefits and experiences. Experiences seem to be getting launched more and more often. And by experiences, I mean, there's maybe like a private event for your VIP members or for your top tier customers. Sometimes it's something like if I'm a supplement retailer that's selling protein and stuff like that. I've seen some of them do things like Skype sessions with bodybuilders, right? These are not your traditional rewards that are being offered, they're experiences. And I think that with the shifting demographic of shoppers, moving more towards millennials and younger customers, I think they value experiences a little bit higher. The same goes with social status. This is, again, kind of playing into the VIP programs, but social status seems to be extremely important, where, I have things that other people don't necessarily have. I have access to these new products, or I have access to items on sale before everyone else does. And that's something that is notable, and it kind of elevates my social status. And I feel good about that because I can brag to my friends about it, and maybe I can bring them along, and I'm providing an experience for them that they otherwise wouldn't have had. So that's another component of programs that I'm really seeing a lot of retailers take interest in. And I think that you're going to see a lot more of those over the coming years.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, Steve, how can someone get in touch with you? So first of all, maybe just a quick, why would someone want to consider Smile for their referral and reward and VIP programs? And then how can they learn more about you?
Right. So if you're selling online and you don't have any sort of customer retention program, definitely get in touch with us. If you go to smile.io, that's our website. You can chat with us directly on the website. And we also have some really good resources that are available there as well. We invest quite heavily in content marketing. We have ebooks, we have case studies, and we can even do an ROI calculation for you on the website to help you show the value of running a retention program. So definitely check us out at smile.io and get in touch with us there.
Awesome. Yeah, and highly recommend it. The case studies are great. The information is good. There's some good articles and things you should check out there. So fantastic. Steve, thank you so much, man. This has been really good. I'm a huge believer in retention programs. I think every merchant has to consider it and think about what makes sense for them. So really appreciate your time today. Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the show, Brett. It's always fun to talk. Cheers.
Absolutely. And for everyone else out there, thank you for tuning in. As always, let us know what you'd like to hear more of, less of. We'd love your review on iTunes, as always. And with that, thank you for tuning in.